Hey, you're listening to The Introverted Vegan. My name is Leslie McCurchie, and I hope to inspire you as you follow along in my journey. If you'd like to join the community and get behind the scenes, you can join me at theintrovertedvegan.com. Otherwise, I hope you subscribe. Welcome to episode 10. Today we're going to be talking about intuition. First off, this is the 10th episode. Can you even believe that? Honestly, I can't. The fact that I'm enjoying doing this is even more surprising. I said that 2018 would be the year for more vulnerability for me, and this has just been a terrific way to kick it off. I know it took me to the second quarter of the year, but my goal with this podcast is simply to share my journey and my passion for personal development, and hopefully it will inspire you. And yes, in case you're wondering, we're still on the my journey part of all of this, but I'm trying to give you some tips along the way. So I do believe that we covered being an introvert fairly well, and hopefully we uncovered some myths to keep, the conversation open. Feel free to ask questions, and just to explore that a little bit as well. And as you can see from the title of this episode, we're going to be chatting about intuition. This is something that is super important to me, and Dylan even calls it my superpower, which does make it sound kind of cool. The dictionary defines intuition as two things: the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning, and a thing that one knows or considers likely from instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. And I want you to notice it said conscious reasoning twice. So no one doubts when a businessman makes a decision based on a hunch. And guess what? That's just another word for intuition. You could also say you had a sense, a notion, or a gut feeling. And that's the same thing too. Both definitions mention that conscious reasoning, which leads me to, make a mental note or just think about it must rely on some kind of subconscious reasoning then, or maybe even instinct. So for as long as I can remember, I just know if I like somebody or not. I didn't have a name for it, but you always hear the term like trust your gut, which was always spinning around in my head. So I just choose to listen to me. A friend and I were recently chatting about this, and she kind of pushed back a little bit to try to understand it. So I want to specify, I don't really know if we're going to be friends immediately, but a no is definitely a no, and it is immediate. Of course, I might not tell you to your face, and please don't ask, but that little feeling I get or a vibe that you give off is not something I'm going to ignore. And if I think you're lying, that would be a no for me as well. And a no is almost always just a no. There's no reconsidering. I've never gotten it wrong. So I have all this years of experience, obviously, and I'm not going to start doubting myself now. And I'm not always that effective. Some people, and all of this is kind of subconscious. Some people may get put on this like, I don't know yet side, but the truth will always come out and, let me know what I need to feel or think about someone. So that sounds pretty simple, right? And I will tell you it is not. Especially being from the South, being polite and courteous is a standard. So for years, I had to fight with these thoughts that were in the back of my head, because I was judging somebody. I still did it, but politely and silently. I didn't tell people what my thoughts were because I'd get, you don't know that, stop judging them. And I actually can't remember a time anybody said that to me, but it was probably just an assumption and a fear on my part. And again, I told you I'm on a personal journey, so I'm learning to live through that and overcome those thoughts and fears, right? So why am I sharing this with you? Why does intuition matter? I think it matters because I bet you have a little voice that talks to you too. But are you listening to it? Your subconscious is attempting to guide you, but you're letting your fears, doubts, and other people hold you back. I read an article in Psychology Today. It was called "What is Intuition and How Do We Use It" by Francis Cole. And studies show that 20% of your brain is dedicated to conscious thoughts and 80% is dedicated to non-conscious thoughts. So you're missing out on 80% of the use of your brain if you're ignoring those non- and subconscious thoughts that you may have. So I want to challenge you to pay attention to your intuition as well. And here's how I think you can tune into that. With mindfulness and solitude. Just taking some time to be alone with yourself, listen to your thoughts, listening to your body and your inner voice, slow down. Your body also has some physical responses, increased heart rate, maybe beads of sweat, and then again, that tiny voice that you may be keeping suppressed. So make sure you listen to those. Dreams, try to remember them and pay attention. And then observing and connecting with others, because learning and watching others will actually teach you a lot about yourself. And I know I've mentioned this before, and yes, mirroring is still coming. So keep a journal of all those crazy ideas and thoughts. Maybe they don't make sense. Maybe they're not rational, but get them out of your head and start gathering them. And I bet they will start to teach you something about yourself. So welcome to personal development. Coming up next, we're going to do a bonus episode on why vegan. Why is vegan in the name? Why am I vegan? Because people are curious and they're asking me. So we're going to talk about it. It's going to be a bonus episode though. And then episode 14 will be on empathy. I do appreciate you listening. This episode has been brought to you by Mind Toy Box. Check them out at mindtoybox.com.